Hi, I'm Jacob,
I'm Michael.
and today we're reviewing Joey Molland's single, Here Comes Heartache. This was his first single after Badfinger. This is the end of the line. This is the first and last vinyl single issued by Joey Molland. The album that was on after The Pearl was released in November 1983 on Earth Tone Records. We're listening to this on the back of Say No More, which was still a bit of a Badfinger reunion with Tom Evans, and this is truly from a Joey Molland solo album. Good danceable song from the album. Can't listen to anything else and say it's as much of a pop single as this song was, and it leads off the album. Reggae, interesting how that was becoming popular in the 80s. Julian Lennon's album Volat was also around this time, 1984, and his single also had a reggae feel. And but the song, it does build it. I mean, it's got a lot of synth pads, a lot of synth and everything going on in there. And it's so interesting that in that intro, as it builds up, you have drums, you have the arpeggios doing the synth and all this stuff. The guitar, which is normally where Joey has the most complex things, is just playing like basic root notes, almost doing like what a bass would do and following the progression. And then it becomes more sophisticated later in the song. I think this is debatably the best solo Joey ever put to record.
It's really good.
It tells a story, it follows the progression, but it's also fading in and kind of mimicking the song, where it has a posture of being more relaxed, but then having a bite to it at the same time at certain moments and coming back and attacking with these chords. So I think it's perfect for the song. Why would this guy let anyone else play guitar on the last album, on Say No More? I mean, he just got such a vision for what kind of solo to put. And like Joey, it's got a positive spin on it. Here Comes Heartache even is danceable and fun, and it's got an everything will be alright vibe to even lyrics that are, kind of dark.
Lyrically, which appears more than once on this particular solo Joey album, have to do with exactly what he's going through, and reference, I think, the first of the Looking on Badfinger reflective type songs. Great example, I always thought of layering as the song begins and the different riffs come in classic Joey style. The lead guitar in the middle is the way it climbs through the octaves. Of course, it reminded me of his classic Badfinger style, and I thought it was superb, ending on the high octave. And all I can say is it's highly danceable.
But I believe there was a video made for the album, but I think it was Moula Ray, and that's the song that Joey really incorporates into his set list. I wonder if that was what he was pushing for, and there was some tension with the label when they released this, or put this out as a single, and when it didn't gain traction, he ended up promoting that more. But yeah, Moula Ray, great song. Now we'll flip it over and talk about the B-side, What Happened. And what a fitting B-side. What Happened, also similar sentiment about the Badfinger experience, one that Joey played live for many years. The intro to this song, love the use of kind of percussion and that hypnotic guitar, and feels like you're awakening from a dream. And just Joey is so good at setting soundscapes. He did this with Flying a little bit, and it's almost ready by the time the melody and the words come in. He sets the stage for all of it. There's a lot of nice harmonies and everything in here, but once he gets to the bridge, it becomes really thin again and direct. And Ain't It Funny, it's really more of a message. I was listening to it this time, I thought about how is he similar to Isn't It a Pity? Maybe in the messaging of looking at a band after the fact and starting and launching a solo career and kind of looking back but looking forward. But then Joey's so different, because rather than being preachy like a George Harrison type or something, Joey's messaging is so direct. It's more like a mentor to a pupil, where he's saying, it'll happen to you, and I'm just one of you, and he's one of the guys, and he went through this experience, but he's still so personable and accessible. And the slide playing, love the use of counterpoint. Probably the first time in a while that there's a double guitar solo, and you can't help but think about, now it's Joey playing both parts after a period of time in his life when there was someone else doing that counterpoint for him. So that's definitely emotional, and the way at the end of that solo, he just is kind of reaching the summit of that final note, and I think there's kind of some emotional touch that he puts on that, the way he arranged that solo.
There's no doubt about it that there's great emotion in playing, and it's reminiscent of one half of the team that was generating all the excitement on lead guitar anyway, and rhythm and Badfinger. And What Happened is also another example on his own. Begins what I call kind of the reflective Badfinger Joey songs, where he did like tremendous thing in preserving the legacy and the feelings by somebody who was really there. And the title itself, it says it all. Something happened. What was it? What happened? Something's changed. What happened to the big boy down the block? What happened to rock? What happened to Badfinger? Musically, it's a great example of Joey finding that riff and hypnotically sticking with it, and making it grow, and just fantastic. And the slide sound in it, I always thought it was superb, and of course very emotional. Love it.
I'm actually constantly blown away by After the Pearl. It's just what a strong solo release. When
Really
you know, his motivation to put such an effort into that first solo release is really impressive. These songs benefit from it, and I think it deserves a lot more attention than it gets. All right, so that's the only Joey Molland 45 we've got, but we've got some other fun stuff, so stay tuned.